Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thanks for tuning in again, or whether it's your first time. This video is specifically for the new firearm owner in the state of California. It is a specific process that we have here. Other states might be different, other states might be sort of similar, at least for some of the forms you have to fill out. But if you're interested in buying a firearm, don't be nervous. Take a deep breath. Every firearm owner in the state of California have been in your shoes today. First time I bought a firearm, I was both excited and for some reason nervous when I purchased. I don't know why. Probably because I did a decent amount of research, but there were a few things that were a surprise to me. So, first thing I'd recommend you do is really understand what you're trying to do with this firearm. Is this going to be a firearm you plan to legally conceal carry? Is this a firearm for home defense, whether it be a full-sized handgun, a long gun, or a shotgun? Really think about what you want to purchase first. From there, just do a little bit of research. First thing I would do if you're going to purchase a handgun is go to the California gun roster. If you're unaware, there are only a certain list of firearms you can purchase in the state of California. I didn't realize that when I was first looking to buy a firearm. I called my local gun shop. I wanted to buy a Beretta model that wasn't on the California gun roster. He asked if I was a Leo. I said, "What the hell is that?" He said, "A law enforcement officer." I said, "No." Then he said I couldn't have it. So take a look at the California gun roster. Luckily, if you're purchasing after January 1st, 2025, there are a lot of options that I didn't have when I was purchasing. So when you're going to go in to purchase a firearm, there are a couple things you could do. For instance, I like to go on my Sportsman's Warehouse website, and what I can do is purchase the firearm, kind of reserve it. It'll charge your credit card, and then you can go in and do the paperwork and fill it out. The other option is you go in and you can talk to anyone at the counter. A couple recommendations when you're at a gun counter: be very respectful. Really listen to what they're saying, and also take what they're saying with a bit of a grain of salt. I say that because there might be some people at the gun counter that are going to push you towards a Glock. Now that's a great firearm, but maybe you don't want a Glock. Maybe you want something that's a little bit different. Maybe it has more internal safeties. Maybe you want something that has a red dot mount on the top. Be respectful, listen to what they have to say, but try not to disagree with them unless maybe they're being rude. But every gun experience I've had has been pretty great in the state of California, considering we're a relatively small community but growing. So when you walk in, there are going to be a couple things that you need to bring. Number one is you're going to have to bring two forms of a proof of address. So this can be your state issued or government issued ID. This can be, again, that's your driver's license basically, a Comcast bill, a utility bill, whether you're in PG&E, SCE, LADWP. I'm in the SMUD territory. So bring your utility bill, make sure it says your name and it says your address. If, let's say, your car is registered in your spouse's name, that's not going to work. It has to be your name with the address listed below. So you have to have two forms of address. Now, you also need to have, for a pistol specifically, you have to be over the age of 21, and you have to have a government issued ID. Now, I still don't have my real ID yet in the state of California. I need to get that. So what I need to do is I have to bring my passport into Sportsman's Warehouse or wherever you're going to buy your firearm. So again, two proof of address, one government issued ID, and then you're going to have to get a California safety certificate. So what this is effectively you get a certificate that lasts 5 years. So mine's actually going to be expiring in June of this year. And what you're going to have to do is take a firearms safety test. I was not aware of this when I went to purchase it. I had to take this written test. Luckily, it's pretty straightforward. It's very common sense gun ownership rules, but I'd still recommend you go and review this and really try to memorize it because it is good to know. So once you have that firearm certificate, you'll want to keep this because every time you purchase a gun going forward, you're going to have to show this. Once you do the certificate, then you're going to have to fill out the ATF 4473 form. just Google that and you can open it. And really what it is, it's a document that wants to know what handgun you're purchasing, what's your age, your sex, your weight, hair color, eye color, all of that information about you. Then it's going to be asking you questions about the intent of this firearm and who you are. For example, are you addicted to drugs? Answer truthfully, but definitely put no. Because if you put that, that's going to put a little asterisk on you. Are you planning to purchase this for someone else? If you're legally buying this, don't say yes. This is a purchase for you, and you're not going to be trying to get around the system. Again, you want to do everything by the code, follow the law. It's a fairly simple form to fill out. At Sportsman's, it's all electronic. And once that is filled out, they're also going to take copies of your ID, your address, your passport, photocopies. Once all that paperwork is done, now the waiting period begins. So it's a 10-day waiting period in the state of California. It really sucks. However, we did have legislation passed recently that now you can purchase more than one firearm in a 30-day period. So I'd recommend purchasing, I don't know, 2-3 guns at a time. You wait 10 days. Something I'd recommend doing is don't purchase ammunition prior to picking up the gun. And the reason is there's a processing fee for the background check. So after that 10-day waiting period, the first gun, the 10-day waiting period feels like an eternity. You're going to go into your local gun shop. I would also ask when you purchase the firearm 10 days before if you could book an appointment to then come in 10 days later at a specific time. On the weekends, the gun counter tends to be pretty busy, especially around, let's say, 4th of July or an election, anytime where people feel really urged to buy guns and ammo. See if you can book an appointment, and then when you walk in, you're going to be picking up your firearm. I believe you have to answer the same 4473 form answers, pretty sure. Sign your name, and then they will give you the handgun, and that's when you want to purchase your ammunition. Because that processing fee that you're going to pay when you pick up, you can purchase the ammunition under. So you just pay once for the background check for the firearm and all that ammunition. So that was a very quick rundown. I'm sure there's going to be a California gun expert maybe mention something that I missed. If I did, put it in the comment section. But don't be nervous. Everyone has been in the same position. Be a sponge. Try to absorb as much information as possible and do a lot of research about your gun. Then once you have your firearm, go to the shooting range, do a lot of dry fire at home. I'd recommend picking up some dry fire snap caps. It's really good to get the muscle memory of putting in a magazine, racking the slide, pointing, dropping the mag, pulling the slide back, taking the round out. Practice as much as possible. A firearm needs to be handled safely, but it also needs to feel like an extension of yourself. So if you've ever played a sport, baseball, tennis, lacrosse, those instruments, after you practice enough, it doesn't feel like it's something separate. It feels like it's a part of your body, and you can just intuitively use it. So again, hopefully that was a quick rundown. This turned out to be an 8-minute video when I wanted it to be about 4, but hopefully this was helpful for you.